This city has stories, and so do we. It's not just a podcast, it's a movement. Real stories, real people, real purpose. Real purpose. Pull up a seat, get comfortable. Let's talk purpose, pain, growth, and everything in between. From the heart of Atlanta to wherever you are, welcome to Stool Talk. Let's walk it out in purpose together. So today with us on Kingdom Grind, sponsored by Stool Talk, we have with us a great guest. Today we have with us someone who's just been, and right before the interview started, we were talking about it, somebody that God is just really using right now in this time, in this season, to share the gospel, to share kingdom work, the kingdom business, and to really be true about it and really to be used. We're going to shine a spotlight on her. She's a woman of faith, a former high school and college basketball standout. Now she's taking the course, she's taking the kingdom and encouraging, inspiring, impacting life with transparency, wisdom, all for the kingdom purpose. Like we once was on the basketball court, like watching her do her thing. Now she's involved doing things, spreading and being helpful. She has had things that she has shown content-wise that didn't help people that I didn't even send to people that can help transform them by sharing the gospel. She's being used, uplifting people, and God is just doing amazing things. So from athlete to inspiration, we're gonna dive in. Today we have with us the one, the only, Miss Jala Johnson. How you doing today?
I'm doing blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. So let's start with, as you study, as you get the word, as you get in your word, what gives you, or how does God give you what to say or what to put, or even what to put on content, or even to say? Like, how does that come?
It's it really, for me, it depends. I've always had the gift of discernment and being able to hear God's voice, and I think God used the way that my dad is. God he's a heavenly father. He wants the best for you, but he also has to teach you that I am your father and I know things that you might not know. And so for me, I can literally just be driving and he'll give me like a revelation, or I'll be walking down the street and he'll just give me something, or it's always sometimes he doesn't give me the direct answer, but it'll be a constant thought on my mind, like, okay, so I'm feeling this, Lord. And then once I go to him, I say, God, I'm feeling all of this stuff. What does that mean? Like, why am I feeling this way? And then a few days later, he'll give me a revelation. And I'm like, Lord, that's exactly what, what I'm saying? Like, that is exactly what I was thinking. And it's always just different, but it's always something that I kind of know already, but he just reveals it to me in a way that I expect, but in a way that, like, it only could have came from God, if that makes sense. So yeah, he worked. Like the other day I saw a rainbow. It was raining, I saw the rainbow, and I'm literally driving, and he just revealed to me, like, you see how beautiful the rainbow is and how the devil can just distort it so easily. And I'm just like, I have to write that down immediately. Like, I can't go any further. I had to literally pull out my phone and type it into my note at that moment. And people sometimes look at me like I'm crazy, and they're like, what are you doing? I say, God just gave me a revelation just in this moment. So it really just depends on what's going on and stuff like that. So
yeah. And then a couple of your posts, you said God can use the bad for our good. What the life's experiences has helped you truly understand that to be true? Like, man, I'm speaking that from inside. I know.
Yes. Really. So every month I want to call it a mantra. Every month God gives me something new every month. I don't know if it's a task or I don't know if it's a message, but for the last maybe month or so, my phrase has been God does everything for his good. And I didn't really understand that until a few weeks ago. A few months ago, I had made a rush decision, and I didn't come to God first. So now within that place, I am struggling. I'm like, Lord, like, why am I going through these things? And so he revealed to me, just because you didn't do what I asked you to do doesn't mean that I can't still use that situation for your good. And so I'm like, I said, okay, God, I understand what that means, but can you give me something a little further? And I don't know if you watched The Chosen. It's the show called The Chosen, and it's basically about Jesus and how his walk with God. And so it was an episode where Matthew, he was a tax collector, and he had written all of his, like, when he was a tax collector, he had a little booklet that he would use, and he would use it for bad. And so when he came into the kingdom, he asked Jesus, he was like, do I still need this? And he said, yes, but I'm going to use it for my good. And so I just think it's just so powerful that it's so much that I can dig down into, but it's just so crazy that even though we do bad and we do wrong things, God can still use the bad. And the Bible, when Jesus had to die for us, and God used the evilness of other people to still do God's will. So I'm still learning that lesson. This lesson has just came to me. It's easy to say, but actually to like live in the goodness of God is different. You can say whatever, but recently I have really been on like God does everything for his good, even our wrong. So yeah.
When you just said that, it made me think about God's grace, how his grace is so sufficient, his grace and his mercy. How has that changed the way that you view things, or you even view the way that you minister to people? Because a lot of times people think, man, I did this, it was wrong, or, you know, I need to make the right decision. So now they frantic and now they're being double-minded, and God don't like us being double-minded. So how has the grace and mercy impacted the way that you minister, or that you even handle the day-to-day?
So before I was saved, I was the type of person to where I gave nobody grace. I never gave anybody a chance. I expected people to think the way that I did. And so as I've really started to grow my relationship with God, I started working a job, and I work with kids. And so you really have to know grace, and you have to be gracious, and you have to understand that people, number one, people might not even be aware of what they're doing, number one. But number two, you always have to give everybody a chance, because think about how many chances God gives every day that we don't deserve. And so one day God just revealed to me, like, you can't continue to expect me to give you grace, but at the same time you're not giving any. And so I believe I made a video about that one day, because you can't ask God for something that you're not doing yourself. And so that has really resonated with me recently. And so even just living within the word of God, your mindset begins to change, because you want to give grace. Once you start to live with God, you want to give grace, you want all these things, and then now it's harder for me to actually not give grace, because now I'm giving too much grace in a sense, because I just want everybody to feel God the way that I do. But he's still teaching me both sides. You can give grace, but at what point are you going to set that boundary, if that makes sense? So it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, it definitely did. What would be your words of encouragement to a lot of people who struggle with the guilt and shame, and they think that they messed up too much for God to forgive them or to even use them? What would you say about that? Because we all fall short of the glory of God. So what would be your comments to that, to someone who may feel that way?
For me, I always say, and I think I talked about this in one of my videos, God has already, God, he's omnipotent. He already knows everything that you're going to do. The hardest part for us is forgiving ourselves, but actually bringing our guilt to God, because of the way that the devil works, he's so deceiving, and he wants us to feel so ashamed of our sin that we don't come to God. And so that now that creates depression. Now that creates anxiety. Now that becomes, am I ever good enough? But God already knows what we have done. So why not come anyway? Like he already knows what we did. So he's the only one that can comfort us. He's the only one that can change us. And so even within the bad, we still have to come to God. So I would just say, well, even going back to on the cross when Jesus, it was a murderer, and I think it was this evil person next to him, and one guy, he was still living in unrepentance. He was, well, if you say you're a son of God, come save us. And then the other guy was, Lord, I believe, and I know that you are the Son of God. Take me into the kingdom with you. And it didn't matter what he did. He probably did the worst things ever. And in that moment, just because he accepted God, Jesus took him with him. And it can be your literal last breath, and you can still enter the kingdom of God. And so I think where a lot of people fall short is that, like you said, they feel so ashamed of what they've done and before. And I just want people to know, like, it doesn't matter what you can do. You can always come to God. You can always come to God. You can always talk to Jesus and just say, like, Lord, all it takes is, Lord, I have been wrong. Save me from whatever I'm going through. And I think people that don't forgive themselves, that's where they struggle, because if they can't forgive themselves, then they assume that God cannot forgive them. But once you really feel that love from God, you want to come to him. You want to come to him in your sorrow. You want to just cry to him and just give him everything that you're going through. And so I think once people actually understand and like feel the love of God, then they'll want to come to him, because there's no other option.
Yeah. Dang, that was good. Your message about boundaries really connected with people. What inspired you to speak on removing yourself from unhealthy situation and unhealthy people? Because a lot of people, close friends, close family, they stick, and we even been guilty of being in unhealthy situations or dealing with unhealthy people. What gave you like, I need to speak on this? God gave that to you? Speak on that a little bit.
I'm to the point in my walk with God to where if you're not trying to get better, or if you're not truly striving to live in the Word of God and change your life, and you're allowing foolishness around you, I'm getting to the point where my spirit can't even be around you. Like, and that goes for family, that goes for friends, that goes to really anyone in around my circle. Like, if you're not, and I mean this with the deepest amount of love, it's not coming from a place of irritation, it's not coming from a place of anger, it's coming from a place of love. Because at some point, you have to love somebody enough in order to let them go, especially if they don't want to be better. And it's really just like the spirit, like the foolish spirit. And the Lord says, Proverbs 13:20, I believe, he says, if you surround yourself with the wise, you will become wise. But the companion of a fool will suffer harm. So if you're allowing foolish and negativity around you, I'm at the point to where, like, I can't even be around you. And yes, we owe everybody grace. We owe everybody love. However, we do not owe everybody access. That's no. And that is why God said he will bring a sword to divide families, friends, loved ones, whoever. You have to put him above everything. So if you are putting your family, if your family acts fool, you putting them above God, you're wrong. If your friends are doing foolish stuff and you're putting them above God, you're wrong. Whatever, God comes first, regardless of who it is, no matter what they doing, God always comes first. Our job is to plant the seed. Our job is not to water the seed. That's God's job. So if you keep planting that seed and planting that seed and planting that seed, it's planted. That's all we can do. And if that person chooses not to listen, if that person chooses to not tend to their seed, that's on them, not you. And I think a lot of us need to hear that, because we're trying to be God and save everybody. That's not our job. Our job is to plant the seed and continue to spread the gospel. We can't do everything. That's up to God. And I'm at the point where y'all got it. I planted my seed. If y'all don't want to listen, that's on y'all. I'm gonna pray for y'all though, but I'll leave the rest up to God, because it's above me. People are like, oh, so you're just gonna give up on me? No, it's not. If I would have gave up on you, you would have known that. I'm going to give it to God. That's not giving up. God says give us all of His problems. So if you're not changing, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna give it to God at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, like I said, before I was saved, I had a hard time. Let me go back. I've never really had problems with like boundaries, but like I said, God had to work on me, because you have to give everybody a chance. You can't just, somebody do something to you one time, you got to cut them off. Like, that's not how it works. So God had to both sides. So I'm growing my relationship with God. You still have to set, I call it a holy boundary, in a sense of, our job is only to plant the seed. We're not meant to tend the seed. That's God's job. And so I think a lot of people misconstrued God's will, because they want to be God in other people's lives. And so once they can't fix somebody, now they're upset, but that's not our job. And so for me, I still struggle with this, because like I said, once you start growing your relationship with God, you want to give everybody a chance. You want to do all these things, but at the same time, Jesus, sometimes he don't work in confusion either. And I don't know if I talked to the video. The guy, his daughter had died, and he asked Jesus to heal his daughter, and he's like, and they're professional mourners there, and he's like, y'all got to go, because it's too much doubt in the room, it's too much unfaithfulness in the room. And even God said, like, when I come back, or when Jesus comes back, he will bring a sword to divide families, friends, and whoever else. And I think sometimes the enemy tries to get you in situations to where you feel like you can't leave, and that includes family. I mean, who doesn't love family? Everybody feels like they need family and whatever, but if you're putting your family, your friends, or people around you above the will of God and above what God intends for us to do, and that's a problem. And I have been, like I was talking about earlier, this space that I'm in right now, I feel as though I'm planting all these seeds and they're still not receptive to what I'm saying, and family included. Some of them get upset when I'm preaching, or when I'm sending positive godly message into the group chat, and later on when I come around, it's like, oh, here goes Jayla talking about God. And so for me, I'm like, you claim to be these people of God, but y'all don't even want to listen to the word. And so God is just revealing to me, like, you can't, that's not your job to deal with. Give that to me and I'll handle it. So I just think for me, I don't play about God. That's just something I just don't do. And so he knows that. And so he knows that I am doing my best to just plant the seeds and still come to him with these problems. But that's something you have to let go, and you have to let God intervene.
Yeah, I can't say hate, because hate is a strong word, but I just like that. Like when people see you, or they know that your walk is changing, so they try to, because it's a judgment. If you really think about it, they're judging what we're doing. But now you could be doing any other stuff. You could be gossiping, you could be talking about people, but you're being positive because you're making an impact. But now people look at you funny. I hate when they be like, oh, they'll cuss, like, oh, my bad, he in there or she in there, my bad, I didn't do this, or we can't listen to this, or we can't do this. But like, we ain't nobody perfect. I like trap music, I like trap stuff, I like a lot of stuff that, I'm getting, like, can't be around it so much because it just start overwhelming you. But everybody's relationship with God is different. So just because you like to do that don't mean that I have to, move myself away. Like, I still can be doing what I'm doing and you doing what you doing, but that's on your hands. It's
a lot.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said, and it's crazy too because people think that once you remove yourself, you're trying to make it seem like you're better than them. But no, like I said, once you start to walk in the path of God, your mind frame shifts. Like your body shifts. You see the flesh you see the spirit before you see the flesh, and so you can feel that type of energy. So once you're locked in with God, you don't even want to be around that type of energy, and so people see that as, oh, you think you're better than me, and it's not that I'm better than you. It's just because I'm trying to elevate myself and y'all are still trying to stay down here, but I'm trying to go up. Y'all trying to stay down. And I just can't tolerate that. And I think that's what God, I mean, he planned for that to happen because like I said, he said he will bring a sword to divide. Yeah. It's not just to bring peace into love. No, you're going to have to put me before your family.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What you think, because it's a difference. What do you think in your personal opinion? What do you think that removing yourself out of anger versus removing yourself out of growth? Because it's a difference.
It is a difference.
What do you say to that?
It's hard. I'm still working on it. But one thing that I've learned is not even just with God, but just in life in general and mentors before me is you can't make decisions in anger because it goes left and it's not 9 times out of 10 it's not going to go the way that God intends it. And so for me, what I've just been doing is whenever something happens or anytime somebody makes me mad or does anything, I give it to God, and eventually he literally causes me to separate myself. And so I'm always saying, Lord, whatever's in your will, it'll be done. So I might feel angry in this moment and I might feel like I need to separate from these people. But is that what you want me to do? Is that what you intend for me to do? And so I've really been striving and working on letting God handle things and just stepping, because I was the type of person before I would say whatever, do because that's how I feel. But now I've had to understand, like, that's the flesh. That's the flesh speaking. What is my spirit telling me? And so I've really been working on going to God before I do anything, before I say anything to anybody, even if I have a disagreement. I've learned right now, if I'm not in the right mind space to have the conversation, then I have to remove myself. And it's easier said than done, for sure. I understand. But once you start to walk with God, you want to do everything in your power to not disappoint him. And so even road rage, it's so easy to just cut somebody out because they cut you off. But once you live in God, it's like I gotta pray for them because they must not know what they're doing. I gotta pray for them. And so now for me, it's coming from a place of I'm not feeling bad or feeling bad for the people that act that way instead of feeling the anger. It's like, dang, where's your soul? Because if you can do that, you're lost. So I've really been taking it with, I'm pray for them rather than judging them or getting angry about what they're doing.
Yeah. How do you stay spiritually grounded in all of this that's going on in life that we go through, distractions, negativity, even things that you go through? How do you stay spiritually grounded to make sure that you good?
Really just, again, like going back to those boundaries, like cutting out and the things that I feel are not of God and are in God's will. So whether that means family, friends, the music that you listen to, that you watch, I really try to strive on the music that I listen to, because I used to go to school in Chicago, so I was listening to all types of stuff. But as I started growing my relationship, it's like the things that you hear, the things that you see, and the things that you entertain, it comes with a big part of where your mental is. So if you're listening to somebody say they want to kill themselves and they are sad and all that stuff, you're eventually going to become that, or you're actually going to feel those emotions. So I really try to just watch godly podcasts or listen to gospel music or just literally take walks and just talk to God and just like, Lord, like, what do you want me to do today? Like, what what do you have intended for me? And also too, just asking for my daily bread, because tomorrow's bread could be different than yesterday's bread, you know? So just asking God every day to just give me the bread that I need to survive today, not the ones that I needed yesterday, not the ones that I would need tomorrow, but what is it that I need today to get me through today? And literally just talk to him like that. And yeah, that's really it.
And a lot of people don't understand the power of music, the power of what music
Yes.
was. Like, even
Yes.
devil was Lucifer. He was over the music when he was in heaven before he got it perverted and, got kicked out.
Yes.
So the music is
Yes.
still used to do something in a negative way.
Yes.
So we have to be careful about that. Like I
Yes.
said with road rage, somebody could be listening to something like doom doom doom, it's getting them
Yes.
going. Even we know as former athletes, it's that certain song you lit on, you bouncing, and you
Yes.
getting ready. Like, so we
Yes.
know what it can do to us. So you have to
Yes.
really be
Yes.
careful and mindful of that.
Yes.
Making decisions. If you got a big decision, you don't need to listen to no uproar and be up tempo and all that. You need to be calm, peace, and and even when you get before God, try to
Yes.
have some of that meditation, prophetic,
Yes.
instrumental, or something to have your
Yes.
spirit to where you ain't thinking
Yes.
crazy.
Yes. Because
That's
I realized
important.
like that upbeat music, like that frequency, all that stuff matters. Like, especially within the kids. Like I work with kids, so I see what music does to them. They talk about they want to be, Lord forgive me, they want to be like Sexy Red and all these people that are doing all these lustful and all these things. Why is it that when you listen to a certain song you feel lustful, or I feel angry, or I feel sad? It's because the devil wants to portray all of these things into something good, and it's not. And people think that just because they're not saying that, oh, I love the devil, or I'm doing all these things, what you do though is showing the devil that you're his. And people don't want to go there all the time, but no, what you listen to, even the stuff that you put in your body, all that type of stuff, all that stuff matters. Like, the devil can get to you in any type of way if you're not covered within the blood.
Yeah. If someone watching this interview is currently struggling mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, what encouraging words could you leave with them?
That's a tough one. Because everybody is so different. For me, I would just say that 9 times out of 10, that person that is struggling has tried everything else. They've tried the drugs, they've tried the females or the men, or they've tried this everything in the world, and so those things obviously are not giving you the satisfaction that you need. And so for some people, it might just, because God finds you when you're at your lowest, and so he knows your heart and he knows that you need him. And so if you literally just come to him and say like, Lord, I need you, it doesn't matter if you know him or not, he will reveal himself to you. And I think that people might not even know, people can't even fathom the glory of God in some instances. And so I think sometimes they're scared of the persona of God and what the expectations. But once you, like I said before, once you really feel and see the love of God, there's nothing else in this world that can bring you down or even just get to you. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I was about to say something else, but I forgot. Yeah, his love is just intolerable, because once you feel that, you don't want to put up with negativity. You don't want to put up with just evilness around you. And so I think a lot of times people struggle because they've never felt any type of real love. God's love is real. It's the realest you'll ever get. And so I just encourage people, like, if you're struggling, just come to just try out God and see what is. But that's why, people of God, it's so important for us to display the love of God, because people, you never know who might need that godly love around them. So if you're going out acting a fool and claiming that you believe in God and do all these things, you're going to steer people away. But if we can do a better job of actually showing and displaying God's love as believers of God, I think it'll bring so many more people in to the kingdom. So as followers, we just gotta do a better job of really showing God's love.
Mm-hmm. What had God taught you about patience, trust, and timing through unanswered prayers and delays?
Um, wow. For me, or just in general, sometimes it's hard to have a feeling or like going through a situation where you feel like God is not answering you, but at the same time, I just like I said, I keep telling myself like God knows better than we know. He already knows he can already see the outcome, but we are we are granted, as a believer, you are granted suffering. You are supposed to go through these things because the walk with God is not easy. And I want people to understand that walking with God is the hardest thing that you'll ever do because you literally have to die to your flesh every single day. And so with God, you have to show your fruit. You have to show the patience. You have to show all these things, and because you expect somebody to give it to you, so therefore you have to put it back out. And so if you're asking for patience, you have to kill your flesh and give people the patience that you are asking God for. And so eventually He will work with that. He will work. He will work in that for you. And so with the patience thing, the same thing. Like you have to trust, and that's where the faith comes in. You have to have the faith that whatever you're going through, God will handle it, because faith without believing that He can do it, it's not going to work. You have to have the faith. Jesus didn't heal people that didn't believe that He couldn't heal them. He asked them first, do you believe that I can heal, or do you believe that I can do this? Because if not, what's the point of Him doing it? If you're not going to believe it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I think that answers your question. I think.
What's one of your favorite ways to spend time when you need peace and a mental rest?
I have two ways. So for me, when I'm just struggling with God or I'm struggling with the things around me, I have to get in an enclosed place where there's nobody else around. It's literally just me and God. So often I sit in my car because I feel like included with God. Like I feel like He could sit in my passenger seat. And so I just listen to gospel music, or I'll drive around and just talk to God and just literally tell Him, like, God, like, oh, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you have in store for me. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And He might not give me the answer in that moment, but I feel better because at least I'm still coming to Him. And God loves, I just told somebody this the other day, God loves the struggle that we hate because we're bringing it to Him. So as long as we're bringing our problems to God, He loves it, because we're not going out and doing something else because we feel this way. But also too, just sitting in my room or just sitting in the prayer closet, or I don't have a prayer closet, but just sitting somewhere and just listening to not even just gospel music, but just the sound of like godly music, and just closing my eyes and just sitting there and just inviting God into my presence and just pouring it out, not even saying anything, just thinking everything and just letting Him just sit in that moment. So that has really helped me a lot. Just really just to calm my mind down, especially when I'm having a bad day or when I have so many thoughts. Just God's presence alone helps me. So
Yeah. What's one thing that might be misunderstood about you?
um I think it would be that I am judgmental, or I would say judgmental, because a lot of people, they think that just because I'm preaching, or not even preaching, just because I'm talking about God a certain way, people take that as judgment because I'm telling them what they're doing wrong. Or I'm just trying to talk to them about God, or just trying to be better in life. So I think a lot of times, if you're not ready to hear that, you take that as judgment, or I'm being judgmental. But in reality, I'm the type of person to where I'm going to be honest with you, because I don't want to see you. I'd rather be honest with you now and before it's too late, and then you end up dead and you have to answer to God what you've done. So I'd rather be that person to hey, you can't keep doing what you want to do. Like, God, you said that you want to follow God. Okay, well, now I'm gonna hold you to that standard. So now I'm gonna tell you what's not godly. And a lot of times people take that as judgment.
Yeah.
So
And they don't understand, once they really start reading that word, they understand that God ain't nice and friendly about the
yeah,
word, because the word is
no,
impacted. But another thing, I kind of
yes,
look at it as, when you was on the court, when you played basketball, or anything that you do, you going hard, you gonna do your best, and you already was a
yes,
leader in that forward. So now that you on God's team, now you gonna be that
yes,
same leader. You gonna go
yes,
hard, and you gonna hold people
yes,
accountable, because it's
yes,
accountability. A lot of times we around them yes men or yes women and
yes,
people that let us do stuff when I ain't
yes.
supposed to be doing this. Why you ain't letting me know?
Yes,
Why
exactly.
you?
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing with everybody. Like, I'm not just saying it, and I'm not acting like I'm just this perfect person. No, I struggle with things as well. But as a friend or as a family member, if you say that you're walking within God, I expect you to do the same thing for me. So if you
Yeah,
see me out cussing somebody out because I'm mad, or doing all these things, I expect you to tell me. And so that's why going back to boundaries, that's why I really surround myself, or try to surround myself with people that hold me accountable. Because if I don't have somebody holding me accountable, you're letting me just do whatever I want to do, and I can't have that around me. I just can't. So family, friends, whoever, yeah.
yeah. What's that
Yeah.
what's that one life situation or one situation that happened that you said, "Yep, this is I need to go ahead and give them all. I ain't no more straddling, ain't no more being lukewarm. I got to go ahead and just go." What was that one situation?
Um, I wouldn't say it was one situation. I would say it was more so of a lifestyle. It was just, I was very mean. I was very just, I don't want to say evil, but I was very just mean and standoffish and all of these things. And eventually God had to reveal to me, like, how can you truly show my love if you're this way? He was like, that's not of me. How you're acting is not of me. And the way that I was raised, my dad was very blunt. He was very like, he was spiritual in a different way, because he kind of knew things that nobody else knew what happened. But as it happened, you go back to him and you're like, dang, that's why he said that. And so for me, God, it's kind of like that for me as well. And so God, he clocks me. I'll do something. He called me a hypocrite the other day, because I was preaching about having faith in him and just giving it to him, and then there was a situation to where I was stressed and I was not having faith in God. So he revealed to me, like, you just preached about this, and now all of a sudden you don't have faith. He was like, that's not how it works. So like I said, for me, it's kind of not an everyday thing for me, but it's like I have to give it to God, because if I do it myself, I know I'm not going to react in the same way. And so, like I said before, that I was saved, I was just bad. I was just mean, just doing whatever, just not listening, very rebellious, very like, I don't care if you like me or not. I wasn't displaying God's love. So eventually, got so tired of, I was putting so much negativity out that I wasn't receiving any positivity. So eventually I had to say, Lord, whatever you want me to do, whatever, I need you to kill this. I need you to do all these things. And so eventually he did it. And so now when I tell people how I was before, they're like, there's no way that you were like that. And I said, yeah, I was. But at the same time, like I said before, God uses everything for his good. So yes, I was these things before, but God has used those same characteristics in the kingdom. So
Yeah, that's one thing I love about you. I love about your sister. I love about the transparency. Like, you don't try to live like you perfect. Like you just said, what just happened, and and God gonna get the glory out of it, because somebody gonna be like, man, so I don't got to be perfect. Okay, I can do this. Or they see that you living through your life and you ain't just saying it. You like, shoot, I struggle with this.
Yes.
I have to check myself, because here I'm being a minister in this, but now I'm figuring out, because every day is gonna be different. We go from glory to glory,
for sure,
and we're gonna gonna fall sometimes, but when we fall, we got to keep getting back up. You mentioned your dad. Who is someone besides your dad that inspires you spiritually or mentally? Whether it be somebody famous, somebody that you watch, listen to.
I would say two people. I would say number one wise. I would say obviously my sister. We're very similar, but we're very different at the same time. And so we always joke all the time. Like her problem was she was too nice. My problem was we were too mean. And so once we started really getting saved, we started to go back. Like I started to be too nice. She started to be too mean. And so we would talk about all the time, like we have to find like a balance between both of us. We can't just let people walk all over us, but also too, we have to have a boundary. And so even just her situations at Michigan when she tore ACL twice and just all the things that she has been through, she has really been a mentor for me because she didn't want me to go through those same things. Like she didn't want me to have to do all these things. So she was really like, in order, I had to go through this first so you can see it, so I don't want you to go through it. And that has really helped me in life. Because we've never really argued. We talk literally all day, every day. And so she holds me accountable, but at the same time, I hold her accountable. And we have this really good relationship to where we talk about God all day, every day. And just like I said, the perseverance that she has had is just phenomenal. Like she quit her job to follow God more. And I haven't gotten to that point yet. Our paths are different, like I said, but she was struggling because she's like, God, like, what do you want me to do? And she said she had no other choice but to give it to God. But for me, I'm still working my job, but I'm using my job to steward. You know what I'm saying? And so she's a prime example of like, when you fall, give it to God and God will literally take care of it. And that's what he's been doing. That not even just now, but in life. And the other one, don't laugh at me, but I love Michael Jackson. I've loved Michael Jackson my whole life, literally. But as I'm getting older and really growing my relationship with God and just watching him, you can tell like you can't be that connected unless you're connected with God. And just the way that you see how people persecuted Jesus, and I'm not saying he's Jesus at all by any means, but you see like the path that it takes, and not everybody is always going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to see the best for you. And the way that he handled people persecuting me, and Jesus literally says, when people value and persecute you in my name, rejoice because the kingdom is near. And so when you go through all of these things, and people are lying on you and doing all these things to you, that means the kingdom is near. Like the kingdom is right there, because if you were doing the wrong thing, nobody would say anything to you. Well, the enemy wouldn't, because he already has you. And so the kingdom, once people start to say all these things about you, that means the kingdom is right there. Yeah. So, and just learn how he, even in his songs, you listen to his songs, they're very godly. He says that he wants to imitate a child mindset, and that's what God tells us to do, because when you're a child, you're very innocent. You don't think about all these bills and all this stuff. He wants you to be childlike, because kids, they show love, they show compassion. Adults, we don't. He never tells us in the Bible to act like adults. He tells us to act like children. So you can see that in his songs and just his lifestyle. So yeah.
And then more stuff is like since the movie, a lot of different things is coming out. Getting to really see like even his business smarts, even his way of being way ahead of the time, thinking and different things like that. So I definitely can see that. If you could travel anywhere right now just to get away to clear your mind, where would you go?
Somewhere very earthy. Somewhere very earthy, somewhere very, not a lot of houses around, not a lot of buildings, somewhere in nature, no phones, anything, water, nature, all that type of stuff, just so I can feel grounded within God, because God, He created everything. He created all the trees and stuff, and it's something about the nature that just really just makes you feel God's love and His presence, because even just like being around animals, because you see the love of God in animals and just nature, because they don't have a people think they don't have a purpose to be here, but everything has a purpose. Animals show love, they show compassion, like the trees breathe, all that type of stuff. So somewhere naturey.
I feel like you had a post that showed just the amazing thing of God. It had the
Yeah.
deer, it had the sun, all
Yeah.
the different things. That was really good. I liked it, that one too. What's one song
Thank
that
you.
personally matches your current season of your life? If it could be a song.
A song. Um. I have two. One that I've been listening to every day is "He Has His Hands on You" by Marvin Sapp.
Yeah.
And then it's a song called. Well, actually, sorry, I have three, because that's more of like the not sad, but that's more of like the Lord, I need an answer. Or everything's gonna be all right. Like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And it's a song called "Breakthrough" by his name's like Chabat or something. I'm not sure if it's his name, but he's just telling God, like, Lord, I just need a breakthrough. Like, I trust you, but like I need something that will like show me that what you need me to do, because I'm here, I'm still doing your will, but I need something else. And then the other one is I forgot his name. It's by 2819 Church, but it's like goodness. I don't know. But he's talking about just how good God is, and just how He, even in the bad moments, He's still good, and it's just a very upbeat song. So I would say those three.
Okay, definitely. And I'm gonna send you the Kingdom Grind app. It's an app with music. It play all the good songs that I feel like.
Oh, okay.
Share it to your family group text, and the people that talk to, that listen to that. They play great music. It's free. Download it on your app.
Okay.
You get all the music and different things like that to see, because definitely songs do help when you're encouraging. Like,
yes, they do.
The one song that always get me when I'm going through something is "I Need You Now" by Smokey North.
Yes. Yes, I love Smokey.
Yeah, that's a good
Smokey
one
be
too.
getting me.
Yeah. Before we close out, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. You either pick one or the other. Praying about it or venting about it?
Praying about it.
Peace or popularity?
Oh, peace for sure.
Late night drives or staying in the house?
And late night drives.
Listening to gospel music or worship music?
I feel like worship music. Yeah.
Protecting your peace or giving people another chance?
Protecting my peace.
Healing in private or expressing your emotions openly?
Privately.
Faith over feelings or feelings over logic?
What was the first one?
Faith over feelings or feelings over logic?
Over logic.
Okay.
Faith over logic.
Phone calls or text messages?
It just depends on the person. Oh. It really just depends on the person. It really does. I hate when people call me and they don't have a scheduled call. That makes me so angry.
Solo time with God or group Bible study?
Solo time.
Waiting on God's timing or trying to figure it out?
Waiting on God's timing.
Okay. Definitely. Jayla, we appreciate you for taking the time out to share your heart, your journey, and your faith. It means a lot. I just don't take this for granted because your story and what you're doing takes courage. It takes faith, and I know it ain't even easy all the time. Your story is proof that God can take you through and get you out of every situation, through the highs, the lows. You know, waiting on God, growing, being transparent, from being, from you even from basketball to now, to even seeing what it looks like as you continue to grow. We just pray that God continues to use you, that he downloads the things that he wants you to say to the right people, that you have fresh oil, fresh revelation, and fresh anointing on your life, that you will continue to spread the gospel and continue to walk in your purpose while you're doing it, and don't be afraid, and just be you, because you are making a difference. Like, it's people that you're touching that you might not even understand, that you might not even know. So I thank you for this time. I thank you for this opportunity, and continue to do it.
I appreciate you. That means a lot. Seriously.
Yeah. And I'm gonna share her information on there. You can follow her and follow her content and different things like that, and see how God is using her. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Miss Jala Johnson.